Saturday, May 20th, 2023, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today, we're going to look at pre-1965 U.S. coinage. Yes, the constitutional silver coinage, or the junk silver as people call it, and why there's such a big premium on those coins. And I'm going to also recommend a very good book for those of you who want to know more about United States coinage. I think it's a must to have this book. But first, I'm going to tell you why I think there's a huge premium. And I don't think it's because the dealers or the bullion dealers, the coin dealers, the local coin shops are greedy. It's mainly because I think the spot price that we see on the screen is the bank, central bank price, official price. I grew up in Brazil, and I remember very well back in the 80s that if you try to go to a bank and take $100, they would give you maybe 500, let's say, cruzeiros. But if you went to a travel agent or a doleiro, as they used to call it in the black market or parallel market, you used to get double the amount. So cash dollars in the free market used to get a lot more. The official rate, why do they have this official rate? Well, because the government is in trouble. Their currency is not really doing well, and they want to take in more dollars cheaply to try to keep their currency elevated so they can spend more at home. And I think that's what's happening right now. I know it's happened before. Back in 2008 and 9, there's a huge premiums, especially when gold and silver corrected. I think silver went from 21 to around 9 back in 2008. Gold went from 1,000 to 680. There were huge premiums. But I think this time, though, what this is telling us is that the dollar is in trouble. And that the prices that we see, not just for silver, but for gold, are artificial. They're not real. And eventually, things will rectify, and the premiums that we're seeing are going to be reflected in the spot price. So that's why I think there's such a huge premium. It's not because your local coin shop or your bullion dealer are greedy. It's because that's what they're really worth in the free parallel or black market, if you want to call it. And even today, I'm not sure how the situation is in Brazil right now, because I haven't been back there for about 8 years. And I've noticed that the Brazilian currency actually has been very stable for the last 2.5 years. So maybe there isn't much difference between the official and the parallel rate anymore. But we've seen in countries like Lebanon in the last 4 years, their currency was pegged to the dollar for about 20 years. And eventually that peg broke. And now, again, they're trying to fool people. The bank official rate for the Lebanese pound, for example, you will only get a few thousand for $1, but you go in the black market, you get a lot more. So that's what I'm trying to say here. The banks are desperate to keep the silver situation in check, but in the real free market, or parallel market, if you want to call it, this is where the real price discovery is happening. And yeah, I've noticed that there's a lot of silver getting drained out of COMEX, but they're also draining the Shanghai Futures Exchange of silver, physical silver. So that's very interesting. So what I'm going to show you now is a little clip from Instagram from a local coin shop or dealer that I follow called Long Island Coin. So you can have an idea of how much constitutional silver coins there are out there. And then we're going to talk about how much she's charging for these quarters. So there you go. Nice sound of real money, isn't it? All those quarters. And I have quite a few quarters. And what I'm going to do now, I have quite a few of these U.S. pre-65 quarters. That's what I meant. I have half dollars as well and dimes. But I'm going to recommend this book here. It's called The Official Red Book, a guidebook of United States coins by R.S. Yeoman. I've got the 2020 edition, the 73rd edition. And it goes through the whole history of coins in the United States. Highly recommend it. It tells you how to use the book, talks about an introduction to United States coins, the Spanish mill dollar, money of the early Americas, coinage of the states, the beginnings of United States coinage, and it goes through everything. And it talks about, for example, which coins are rarer than others, so you know if you were to find some coins at home or from family, you have this book, you will know whether it's rare or not. And it gives you all the details of the coins, the weight, the composition, how many were minted, everything. Highly recommend this if you're interested in coins, numismatics, but not just numismatics, just collecting constitutional silver for the silver content, because not all of them are numismatic or collectible, but they're becoming worth more and more. So Long Island Coin says here, silver quarters for sale, $240 a roll shipped. So he says each roll contains $10 face value. So 4 quarters equals $1. So $10 face value is 40 coins. So you take 240 divided into 40, you get $6 per quarter. So here's these are Washington quarters, I think mostly. So here's I've got one here, a 1962 Washington quarter, as you can see. There are I think the Washington quarters, they were from they've been minted since 1932. Here's another quarter, but this is I think a Walking Liberty quarter before 1932. It's a bit worn out. So I did the calculations, and if you get one of these, you can do it yourself. It's just a little bit of math. So pre-65 quarters, their weight, the weight of the coin, not the silver, the coin weight is 6.25 grams, 6.25 grams. So the composition, how much silver there is actually in each of these coins, well, it's 900 parts of 1,000. And why is that? Well, because circulating coins need to have some other kind of base metal alloy to make them tougher and last longer. So the 100th part of this coin is copper. So it's 900 silver, 100 copper. The net weight in troy ounces is 0.18084. So that's how much silver there is in this coin. Just under 0.2 of an ounce, 0.18084. And why do we have to be so exact about the numbers? Well, because it makes a difference when you're calculating a few hundred or thousands, like Long Island Coin is calculating. So I did the maths here. Spot silver closed last night at $23.85. I guess that's the COMEX and LBMA bank price, the official price that I told you about. That the banks in Lebanon, Argentina, Brazil, in all these countries where they've had a dodgy currency, that's how they do it. But the real rate, right, there's a premium. So I did the calculation. So Long Island Coin is selling quarters for the equivalent of $33 $33.18. Yes, the shipping is included, so but nevertheless, 33.18. That comes to a 39.1% premium. So it just goes to show, and I think that's why there's a premium, because it reflects the real price of silver. And I think more and more people are waking up to the fact that the dollar, or the fiat dollar, the Federal Reserve note, whatever you want to call it, is on its last legs. Even if we get this debt ceiling situation sorted, it's going to be even worse. They're probably going to inflate even more. We heard Jay Powell yesterday saying that they might not raise rates as much as before because of the situation in the credit markets, in the banks. So I think that's what's happening. So before we terminate here, I'm just going to show you some of my coins. So I've got this 62 quarter. I've got some older ones here, as you can see. This one here is from 1903. So there you go. It's got a hole in it, I think. Someone must have used it for a necklace or something. And then there's this one here. In this book, they'll tell you all the details about all these coins. These are still the same weight and composition, but there was a time when they readjusted the weights. So if you go back further, for example, and I've got one of my coins here that I bought from Stacks, which is a numismatic shop in New York. And this is 1834, I think, half dollar. Yeah, 1834 half dollar, as you can see. So the composition of this and the weight is going to be different from a 1964 dollar, because there were some coinage readjustments along the way. Not huge. So yeah, this is a numismatic coin. It will be worth quite a bit more than just a normal pre-65 coin. I've also got a Walking Liberty half dollar here that I bought at Stacks, 1941. You can see here, there's the Stacks Numismatics. I think this was back in 2005. I used to go to New York once in a while for business. I had a couple of clients there. And I've also got a Mercury dime. There's a Mercury dime from 1929. Of course, you've got here a Roosevelt dime, and that's pre-65. So just go through the weights here for you before we finish. So the pre-65 dime, the Roosevelt dimes, and also the Mercury dimes, they have 2.5 grams weight, the whole coin. The silver content is 0.07234 troy ounces. Mercury dimes are from 1916 to 1945. The Roosevelt dimes are from 46 to 64. Of course, they're still around, but not as 90% silver. We've gone through the quarters. So let's go through the pre-65 half dollar. So from 1948 to 1963, the Liberty Bell and Franklin. The half dollars are 12.5 grams weight, the coin. And the net weight in troy ounces of silver is 0.36169. Of course, I have quite a few of these. The Kennedy half dollars. They continue to mint these after 64. I think from until 71 they were 40 or 50% silver. I'm not too sure. There are those as well. They're called the clad silver coins. But I try to stick to the pre-65. So there you go. What about silver dollars? Well, I have some of those as well. Here's a peace dollar from 1922. You can see there. But the U.S. Mint only minted them from 1921 to 1935. For some reason, they didn't mint them after that. They are, of course, 90% silver. And the net weight, though, is 0.77344 troy ounces of silver, which is a little more than the $half. It's if you look at it, and maybe that's why they didn't circulate, because you could use two $half to get one of these, and you'd get a little extra silver. Maybe that's why it didn't circulate. I'm not too sure. And I also have a Morgan silver dollar from 1921. So there you go. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask them in the comment section. And yeah, that's why I think there's a premium, because you can throw a lot of paper at the official price, but eventually the laws of economics take hold, and that's why I think constitutional silver is trading at a pretty hefty premium, almost 40%. So there you go. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you share it far and wide, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. And with that, Rudy and I are going to wish you all a very good weekend. Take care. Bye.